All right, now it's an official meeting. So Jason, sit up straight. Okay, roll call. Mr. Simmons,
Here.
Mr. Morgan,
Here.
Mr. Freeze, sorry about that.
Here.
Mr. Tash,
Here.
Mr. Atkinson.
Present.
Okay. That does it. So gentlemen, at this point, if there's a nominee for somebody to run the meeting tonight, please speak up.
Does anybody have a desire to do it that we can nominate?
I'll pick one of you if you don't nominate somebody. I'll pick someone.
Sounds like Ben has a desire to do it.
I have no problems, but if somebody has their heart set on it, go for it.
I'm out. This is my third meeting. I'm not jumping in on the boiling water.
All right, I'll go ahead and take it if anybody. That's fine.
It sounds good. Yeah.
That sounds good. I'm seeing head nodding. Is everybody good with that? Yay.
Yeah.
I was
Very
just
good.
trying to get the agenda packet up here on something else other than the computer I'm on. All right, we're good. So I guess we call this meeting to order.
That's correct.
All right, for the month of March of 2022. And so our first agenda item would be approval of the minutes. And does anybody have any changes or additions or subtractions?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
And all those in favor say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? And motion is carried. All right, we've already done that. And does anybody have anything to add or subtract to the agenda? Okay. And did you say we had no citizen comments?
That's correct, Ben.
Okay, so I guess we're on to the new business item and discussion of the OC. No, that was last meeting, correct? Hold on,
Yes.
let me catch up here.
We should be on to
The Trillium,
Public Works report.
yep, Public Works report.
Bear with me, I'm scrolling myself here. Okay. First on the Public Works report, Dana Webb, Oregon City Engineer, was going to talk about the Trillium Park Drive update. Dana, are you ready to go?
You enable screen sharing, please.
Yeah, I'll make you co-host, Dana, and you can take it from there. Your co-host.
Sorry, let me get the right screen.
That worked.
All right. So a quick update on Trillium Park Drive project. I think last month we gave you a little bit bigger update. So this is just a quick schedule update. Now through April, we're working through completing the land use review for the Natural Resource Overlay District and the geohazard work, completing the design work and the bidding documents. In early May, we're anticipating getting out to bid, which would put our bid opening in early June for a summer construction season. So a little bit of what we've done in the past month. So on the left is the original images we shared with TAC last month. And then the images on the right in the green outline are a slightly updated kind of layout. And this is based on feedback from the neighborhood out there, kind of looking for, like originally we had kind of tried to put a few more trees and shrubs. They really wanted us to kind of pull back. They wanted, clear view corridor from a safety perspective. This red line here is new pedestrian level lighting. So I believe we're putting in 2 lights along the pathway. So small changes, a little bit less trees and shrubs here, and pulling back kind of this gravelled area to just to the end of the roadway, not as wide here, the 20 feet that we had talked about. So from a visual perspective, on the left was the original drawing, and on the right is kind of the updated. So you can see the street lighting here, pulled the trees further back. So kind of there's a more clear visual path so you can kind of see what's out there. I'm kind of summarizing. I haven't been the one working with the neighborhood on this, but I believe they had some concerns with like a lot of dense shrubbery from a wildlife perspective. I think there were some concerns about maybe coyotes in this area. So kind of pulling those back. And then, too far. And then this is the turnaround. And so just a little bit less dense on the plantings in that area. And again, you can kind of see it's just slightly, trees pulled back behind the lighting. So just some small things, but I believe John has been working with the neighbors on these and kind of getting to everybody feels comfortable with this kind of a layout. And that is all I have on Trillium.
Ray's got a question. Go ahead, Ray.
I'm curious about the bollards I'm seeing in the pictures. Are they wide enough for a bike or a cargo bike to fit through there? Like, what's the spacing for the bollards?
I will have to check on that. If they aren't wide enough for a bike, I would assume we could make them wide enough, but the piece would be making them not so wide that a small car would fit through. So
I would imagine, Ray, that they'll be at 4 feet, if not just slightly bigger, to meet ADA.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions in regard to this? All right. I think we're on to Frontier Parkway. Is that still you, Dana, or is that somebody else presenting?
That's going to be me. And
All right.
obviously, Dana is more than welcome to chime in if I miss anything. Folks, there's really not a lot to update. I'm going to share my screen real quick here. So myself and John Lewis met with Matt Dale. Some of you might be familiar with Matt. He's attended a couple of the TAC meetings before on behalf of the neighborhood of Frontier Parkway in that area. Since he had last attended a TAC meeting, we were able to do some speed counts. Can everybody see my screen okay, by the way?
Yeah.
So as you can see, here's Myers Road. This is Frontier Parkway going north-south. Historically, what our data has shown, and currently as of 2021, there really does not seem to be a speeding problem through the majority of Frontier Parkway. Here you have one at Carmelita Drive, 22 miles an hour in 2021. If you go south to Silver Fox, 18 miles an hour on Silver Fox. And then the last data point we gathered was on Jesse Avenue. As you know, Jesse Avenue turns into Frontier Parkway. And right off Leland, we historically have seen speeds just a tick or two over the posted 25-mile-an-hour limit. So generally speaking, we're not seeing a speed issue based on our data. John and I talked with Matt about different options. There's already speed humps on Frontier. We really collectively didn't think another speed hump would accomplish much. We talked about potentially doing some signage on Frontier at Myers and some signage on Frontier at Leland. We never did come to a determination on what the signage would say, other than potentially, no trucks allowed is one. But in this day and age, with most homes getting deliveries from Amazon and whatnot, we would want to make sure that we weren't putting out a message that those types of vehicles were not allowed to go there. We talked about potentially a sign that would say something effective, neighborhood traffic only. that's pretty easily done by Jason and his folks here at Oregon City. But frankly, in our discussion with John and Matt Dale, the effectiveness was in question. We just didn't really see where the signs probably would have that much effect. John talked with Matt about doing some creative painting in the street. For example, there's a neighborhood, and Dana and Jason will have to help me out on this. It's McLaughlin neighborhood. The residents got together and painted an intersection. It's very colorful and kind of neat. And it sort of indicates that, hey, this is somebody's neighborhood. John thought the thought process was, well, maybe if something like that was done by the neighborhood, it could help. Again, the effectiveness, there'd be no way to really gauge that until after it's done, and then it would be questionable at best.
Vance, was the original complaint speeding, or was it trucks, or was it both? I'm trying to go back to that meeting and I don't recall the nature of it.
Yeah, Ben, as I recall, it was a combination of those things with the amount of vehicles traveling Frontier Parkway. Matt Dale indicated in a perfect world, the neighborhood surrounding Frontier Parkway would benefit if we closed Frontier Parkway south of the park. And as John told Matt Dale, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Part of our traffic plan here at the city is connectivity, and this is a good connection.
Mm-hmm.
So I think generally speaking, Matt was okay with what John and I discussed and proposed. Again, there was no concrete, hey, this is our plan and what we need to do. There's just no good way to mitigate the traffic on Frontier Parkway. We've recognized it's not a speed issue. If I had to guess, potentially we could look at doing some signage, as I mentioned earlier.
But we kind of kick this back then to the neighborhood association for them to discuss and see what they want to do as the next step.
Yeah, that's correct. Matt was going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will let you know if they reach back out to us. And if they do with their ideas and questions, we will absolutely run it by the TAC board.
Sounds great.
So what if you put like a weight limit and then it say local deliveries accepted?
Yeah, that could be one of the options, Tim, for sure. If we do a, no trucks type of sign, is to put a weight limit on there. I don't know that we have those signs here in town. Typically, those weight limit signs are in conjunction with small bridges. But that's something that, myself, John, and Dana would have to vet out and see, one, what is appropriate to put there, and two, what the message is and if it'll be effective.
Yeah, because that's the thing. If you put a weight limit, say no vehicles over 20,000 pounds except for delivery, and then that would give everybody the idea that this is not a thoroughfare.
Correct.
What's the relative cost of throwing one of those up at each end? I got to assume fairly inexpensive.
Yeah, that's correct, Tim. Not very expensive at all.
Okay.
I can't really see anybody, so I'm going to stop screen sharing. Does anybody have any other questions or input on this?
If Vance, that mural you're talking about is at 11th and Jefferson. And
Thank you.
If the group wants to see a picture of it, I can share a picture of it.
Yeah, let me make you a co-host real quick, and you can bring that up, Jason. It is kind of neat. Jason, you are now co-host. You should be able to share screen.
Everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right. So Jason, are you next for the paving report? Is that number agenda item 3? Is that yours?
Yeah, that's me. The PMF report thing.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to go back to the share here real quick if I can figure out which screen I want to share.
And PMUF report thing is a technical term, guys. So
Yeah.
I called it the paving thing or paving report. So.
I think I'm sharing the wrong thing now. I'm not real good at this. No, actually, I don't know what I'm sharing.
It's an email right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just go through it. It's in the, most of it's in the,
Here, Jason,
No.
I'll share screen and I'll bring up the agenda packet, which all the information has in there, and I'll try to scroll along with you, okay?
perfect. That's what I was trying to do. I couldn't do it. I pay for a living. But yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah, the pavement maintenance utility fee. You can keep scrolling down on that for a while, Vance. A bunch of the stuff up front is just kind of boilerplate stuff that just we put in there every year. Doesn't change too much. 136 miles of surface streets. That changes slightly every year. You can keep going. Let's see. Yeah, the billable rate goes up by a percentage. I'm not sure what it is, but it goes up. You can see that how it climbs every year. That's through 2017. And go to the next page. Yeah. Through 2020, I guess. We don't have the 2021 info in there. Or no, it's through June 2021. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and if you get on the city website and search PMUF, this rate information is on the website.
Yeah. Then, yeah, our PCI right now is a 77. It was a 63 when the in 2008 when the plan started. So to give you an idea, 84, they talk about when you go to classes, and 84 is about as high as you could ever get. So we're in what's called a good condition, but we're at the top of the good condition right now. So let's keep going a little bit more. Now here's the slurry seal list from 2021. Came out to $1.94 a square yard. We did all of these streets. Those are the starts and stops. Yeah, 72,000 square feet total for $140,000. And then I missed getting a couple of pages into this report. Kim has updated the report on the website, and she said she was going to try to send it to you guys. I'm not sure if you got it.
She did right before the meeting.
But it has the chip seal on it. We did 43,000 square yards of chip seal on Warner Parrott and South End Road for right at $160,000. The numbers this year, the quantity is going to be roughly the same, but the price is going to go up quite a bit with the price of oil. And then the contractor last year, when he bid, he forgot to add his rock. So we got the rock for free last year. So we won't get that price again. And then it has the contracted street for the reconstruction that we did. Looks like we did, yeah, 3, 6, about 9 streets for $1.94 million. Almost $2 million was the paving project last year, which isn't in this particular one, but it's in the one that's on the website now. And then this, right, what we got on the screen right here was the summer 2021 in-house work that my crew did. We did 1,152 tons. And down below is just some of the streets that we worked on. South End Road, Warner Parrott, those were repairs prior to the chip seal. And then some of the other stuff that we worked on quite a few more streets than that, but those were the big ones. So I think somebody have a question? We did, it's not in the crack seal report or the paving report, but we put down crack seal every year. We did 27,600 pounds of crack seal on 17 3/4 lane miles. So not center line, but just actual lane miles. So we've made a decent footprint with the crack sealing also. And then going into 2022, or does anybody have any questions on the 2021 before I move on to 2022?
What's the difference between the chip seal and the slurry seal?
So the chip seal is like an actual rock aggregate. We use a 3/8 number 8 rock. It's like the county chip seals with a 1/2 inch rock. We go a little smaller than that. We do a 3/8 number 8. And the chip seal, they shoot the oil on the ground, then put the rock into that oil, roll it in, and then put a fog coat over the top of it the next day after they sweep up the extra aggregate. So it has that rock in it. We use that more on like South End Road, Warner Parrott. It's more of a
Fire traffic.
yeah, heavier traffic going faster.
Okay.
And the slurry seals, it's more of a sand that's mixed in the truck with oil, water, sand, some cement. And then they just put that on they just kind of squeegee it out behind their truck with just a drag box. And that's more of a neighborhood.
I was gonna say, more of a neighborhood scenario versus the others, more of the throwaways. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like just a rejuvenator. It's only maybe a 1/4 inch thick. Yeah. We'll get in there and crack seal and then put that down. And it's supposed to give about 8 years more life extension onto the life of the road.
Thank you.
And then 2022, we're looking at about the same numbers. We're looking at 80,000 square yards of slurry seal. That's already come back to bid or from bid. That came out at $161,500. Last year, the all-in price with traffic control and mobilization was $1.94. This year, it's $2.02. So we didn't see not much of an increase this year. Chip seal is out to bid right now. We'll see how that comes back. And then the rehab is at 90%. Josh Wheeler's running that program, so I'm not sure on like a engineer's estimate or anything. I do have an engineer's estimate of about $292,000 for the chip seal for this year. I'm hoping it stays around that $300,000 mark, but we'll see. It's a lot of oil.
Do you think, so if our rating was a 77 in good condition, are we thinking with our current funding and what we're planning, we'll stay at that level or trend up, trend down, or just stay right there?
Well, my feeling on the whole thing is we saw a bump pretty quick, but we also saw a lot of new development. New development bumps up your PCI too. And we got a lot of the low hanging fruit. So it was pretty easy to go from 63 to 77. We've been at 75, 76, 77. It's hard to make the bump up to that next point now. So, but I think that we can slowly keep moving that forward.
Okay.
Hopefully get up into that 80 mark in the next few years.
Okay, trend in the right direction then.
Yeah.
Very good, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. All right, on to, did anybody else have any questions for Jason? Nope. All right, on to the Malala Avenue public outreach.
All right, I can share the 2022 reconstruction project is looking like construction estimate of about 2 to 2.1 million. And again, like Jason kind of mentioned, that's an engineer's estimate, and it's a little bit unsure what prices will look like for asphalt with gas and oil prices. And traditionally, Oregon City does not do an escalator. So what you bid the project as is what you get paid. So larger projects that are multi-year, occasionally we'll do a multiplier or a increase. All right, so transitioning to Malala Avenue. Hopefully all the new pavement on Malala Avenue will bring our PCI up, since that was about a mile-long project. So we are nearly done. We have a few small punch list items, which does include the RRFBs. We've really struggled to get the correct equipment from the manufacturer. And at this point, I do not believe that correct equipment has been installed yet. And then we do have one water valve repair that will need to be done in April. That will require excavating the intersection of Malala and Gaffney. So unfortunately, not an ideal location, but the water valve that was installed is not meeting specs, and we do not want to accept an inferior product that could potentially leak. So quick updates on the few items still remaining. So right now we are doing a kind of project wrap up survey. Hopefully you've already taken the survey and shared your feedback on Malala. If you haven't, I believe this QR code will work directly from your screen. It did for me. So we've got just a short post-construction survey. You know, we've done some quantitative comparisons of street lighting levels, you know, number of pedestrian crossings and that kind of thing. And now we're kind of looking for that qualitative feedback from the users. So we were offering a $5 gift card to the first 50 people that submitted the survey. So if you're scanning the QR code tonight, I will share we are already almost at 300 responses on the survey. So you've missed out. But on the plus side, we've gotten 300 people to provide feedback. I haven't seen any of the results of the survey yet, but we will do probably a closeout and a short, probably some kind of a wrap up back to the City Commission on what we heard at some point. So I think there was a utility bill insert. It's been on social media. I believe it's been on Nextdoor, the monthly e-news, the project subscription list. And so this is just a quick visual of some of the improvements. So if you were walking, so this is the Get and Go and Burgerville is here. These were the poles that used to be in your way. Now this is the view down that same corridor, a wide sidewalk with passing room for those walking. Again, we've got the wide sidewalks, wide enough for families with strollers and those to walk side by side. We've got a group of 4 people able to walk down the nice sidewalk. And again, just a clear ADA path. So just a short, quick update, encouraging you to share with your network the opportunity to provide feedback in the survey. And that's all I have for Malala Avenue. Any
Thanks, Dana.
questions?
Any questions?
I was just curious on that, the water valve you said is gonna be replaced on the Gaffney and Malala intersection. Is there a timeline? Is that gonna be like a road closure, or is it like a day type thing, or any idea on what kind of delays and stuff like that that might create?
I think they're looking at early April. They would probably do it at night. They'd need to shut the signal down since it's in the intersection. And we've been working with our water group to kind of identify the timeline for that.
And
You
I did
think
speak
days,
with our
weeks,
water
months?
manager and, oh, I'm sorry, Ben, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say like days, weeks, months, generalized.
They plan on doing it at night and it sounds like 2 days.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So hopefully 2 days. Once we know specific dates, we'll share on social media and our usual channels for that impact. But yes, doing it at night limits the traffic impacts.
And then they'll just put metal plates in the roadway during the day, so open the intersection back up.
Yes, I think night 2 was for paving.
Okay.
And part of the reason for waiting until April is to have warm enough weather to be able to pave.
Okay. Any other questions for Dana, guys? All right, we're on to the Clackamas County South End Road closure.
So I just made a very quick slide. This is not a city project, so I probably won't be able to answer any of your questions. I gathered all of this information from the county's project webpage, but I think really tonight is just to let you know that the county themselves will be here at the April meeting to talk about the project. You know, the same heavy rain event that damaged Trillium Park Drive also damaged South End Road. So when we have those heavy, large rainfalls, we often see slides. The county did their temporary repairs in the spring of 2017. They've now gone through a design phase. They've actually gone out to bid and I believe opened the bids and want to move forward with construction with a full closure of South End Road, which their website says would be closed May through November. And so this is just a little bit to kind of let you know what the project is at a very high level, and the county will be here in April for a more detailed presentation and questions.
Do we anticipate that's probably like from Barker down to the four-way intersection? That would it be just that section closed, or they're going to go further than that? Or do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, they would still have the local access where they can, right? So,
Okay.
but I don't know where their kind of hard closure lines would be.
Okay. Vance, do you remember in the past when they've closed this section where they've put the barriers?
You know, when it's been an accident or something, in short term, you know, yes, Barker and at the four-way, the hard closures will, as Dana mentioned, probably will still be in that area. I do know that the detour route that they're planning and are going to publicize routes people up, like up, what would that be, 5th and Lynn to get to the top of the hill and around. Because I know the county's heard from several residents in that Barker neighborhood and Center Street, you know, those are intended to still be open, but I think the county's doing a okay job at getting the word out that, you know, this is going to be a long-term closure and trying to get people to take a detour route that isn't, you know, right, you know, past Old Public Works, up Center Street and around. So.
And do we don't have any projects for Center or Lynn or any of the ones that are going to be detoured that would compound the problem?
That's correct.
Okay.
The only project that's kind of close, Dana, isn't High Street or one of the streets down there getting some work this year?
High Street is all done. We have a small pavement repair project on Center Street, but we will be postponing that a year.
Okay.
I think that's what I was thinking of. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we didn't add to the problem by coordinating something else in the area. So.
Yep.
All right. Does anybody else have questions on this particular topic? All right. Vance, do we have any communications or future agenda items that have been relayed to you?
No communication items. The only future agenda item I have, other than Dana mentioning the county is going to come speak to you folks in April, is we were reached out to with a question from a resident that wants to explore looking at putting flashing school zone beacons on South End Road at John McLaughlin School. Currently, the signage there, I believe it's just a static sign on each end of the school zone. As I recall, it says, you know, speed 20, and I'm not sure if it's 7 to 5 or when children are present. I think it's 20 miles an hour, 7 to 5. There is a crosswalk right there in front of the school that is a signalized intersection for that crosswalk. When I first got the info, it was pretty vague, so I was wondering if they were wanting an RRFB put in, but I believe they're wanting more of the school flashing school beacons to flash at certain times of the day. That person that made that initial contact with me has not reached back out, so I don't have any more details, but hopefully they will. And that's something that staff will discuss, see if it's in anybody's project folders or on somebody's radar, is a better way to put it. And then we'll be able to have at least some dialogue with that person if they so choose at that April meeting.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to the agenda for next month?
Do we have any updates on the construction for the toll bypass or toll construction on the bridge on the Abernathy?
I defer to Dana on that. I do not.
What kind of update? You mean like timeline or?
Yeah, so they were saying the spring is here next week. When are they looking at starting to put out those red barrels, orange barrels, I guess?
For the 205 Abernathy Bridge construction project?
Yes, or the stuff that's going to impact our city.
I haven't gotten an update from ODOT. They did open the bids for the 205 project, and the bids were considerably higher than their engineer's estimate. And so I suspect they're trying to figure out their path forward. So they haven't shared anything publicly yet.
Not in the immediate future is what it's sounding like. There's a bit of a delay.
Well, and you know, I don't oversee their budget. They have a lot of money in their budget. I don't know how much flexibility they have. They have always shared with the city that missing one in-water work window is about $28 million a year in inflation. So I'm waiting to kind of hear back from them, kind of what the status is and if that is moving forward.
Okay. All right. Any other future agenda items that anybody wants to get on for next month?
I was just curious about the Oregon City West Lynn Bike Ped Bridge project. 'Cause I know that the commission has been discussing it, and I think West Lynn is supposed to have a work session sometime soon. And so I'm trying to, I guess, keep track of everything that's going on with both cities and how that, plan adoption process is going.
So we did a presentation to the commission on the project. I think it was in February. And at that meeting, they wanted to have another work session with West Lynn. And so we've shared that information with West Lynn. They are already, I believe, planning a joint meeting with their planning commission and their city council to discuss the project in April. And kind of we're looking for a little more direction on what the joint meeting would accomplish, because they were going to talk about it on their end. So I do not have a timeline for when that will go back. I don't know that the commission was super interested in continuing to talk about it.
So maybe something to circle back on May or so after that's occurred and see if anything's changed. Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or future agenda items, guys? All right. Well, if I don't hear anything else, I think we're heading towards adjournment. And this meeting is adjourned.
All right.
Very good. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thanks for bearing with me getting through this.
All right.
Yeah, we might have the same situation in April. So
Okay.
thank you.
All right, everybody have a great night.
You too.